This is going nowhere. Now you got to remember when we started this, before we got Don Driver and them guys to do all this stuff, we had a friend, Joseph Libby, and his dad was under Reagan was the head of the Navy, Libby, and this guy was an attorney down in Houston, and he was a friend of ours.
Sugarland.
And we went down there before we hired anybody else, and we told him about what had happened to us. And he said, guys, and he's a little short guy. He says, guys,
Smart.
we're at his house.
Smart as hell, this guy.
He's in a smart aleck, and he'd fight you in a minute, I'm telling you. And so we're at his house. We went to his house down in Houston. And he goes, guys, he says, go do something else. He says, you got money left, right? Yeah. He says, go do something else. Leave this behind. Do something else. We're like, oh, Joe, blah, 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 blah. This is what happened, and this is what happened. And he goes, I understand. And he goes, and he's standing there and he's reaching as far as he can to the floor. And we're going, what the hell is he doing? He's going, I said, what are you doing, Joe? He goes, his bottom hand, he goes, this is you. This is you. He says, this is them. This is them. He says, you will not win. He says, if they think you're going to win, they will kill you. You'll be dead.
I was running for sheriff at one point.
He says, you'll be dead. He said, and if you do win, he says, they'll change the law so no one can do that to him again.
So I guess they did that, really.
Oh, of course
they got Don, and they made him not practice law and drop our case. So they got to him, and because they were going to put him in jail if he didn't do it.
So after that, I'm telling you, and there was all these game rooms running, and we went and bought more machines. After months, probably years, we were, what are we going to do?
So we were going,
and all these game rooms are running, paying.
So we were going to sell machines.
Yeah, we were going to sell machines.
So I had 300,
and we started vending machines to other game rooms and other stores, and we were doing all that. And so one time, you can cut this out if you want. One time we were gonna one of our mechanics, not mechanics, but technicians, that all these machines we were buying, and he was working on them and with Mike, and they were fixing them up, and we were either selling them or we were putting them in other game rooms or convenience stores or whatever, trying to make money. And it was, it was going to grow. We were still trying.
It wasn't near the money we were making before, though.
But we were trying to grow. But it was so much. Anyway, so let's see, where was I going? So we were buying machines and stuff, and our technician says, hey, there was an auction down in, I don't know where it was, in the middle of Texas, towards Louisiana. And he said they had an auction, and the people that won the auction didn't come up with the money. So these machines are up for grabs, and it's going to be $50,000 or $60,000. I forget what the exact.
I think it was 50
or 60. And they said they wanted cash for this. And so, you guys want to put your bid in? We'll go down there. We'll look at the machines. They've got them at the sheriff's department.
So they had a money bag with 60 grand in it,
and holding in a big building. So we drove down there, Mike and his little SL55 Mercedes.
I had the money behind the seat, so we didn't take it in with us for sure.
So we go down there, and you may or may not want to show this. So we go down there to buy these machines, right? Cash. And so we get there, and the sheriff comes out with a deputy sheriff or something. She was a female. And
she was a female.
So we go in this room, and they locked the door behind us. And all these machines, I mean, machines.
That was a little strange.
These machines everywhere. But they had these machines roped off. And this was the machines that we could buy for 50 or 60, whatever it was. And so, and I'm going, oh my God, they locked the door. They've got guns. And is the sheriff?
He was acting kind of strange.
He was actually like, strange.
What's going on here?
I was watching her, and I was like, I want out of here. I want out of here. Oh, man, how am I going to get out of here? And so they said, well, here's what we want. And they were showing it. The sheriff was showing us the machines. And he says, and we want $50,000. And I think.
No, he said he wanted
60.
He wanted more.
Anyway, we had the money, as I remember it. We had the right amount of money, but I said, well, I didn't bring that much.
He kept whispering in your ear.
Well, wait, I'll get to that. I said, I didn't bring that much. I only brought 50,000, but we had what they said. And I think we had 60 in there. And anyway, so I said, oh, I didn't bring enough. And so deal's off, I'm wanting out of there. And I'm like, so okay, that's fine. Deal's off. I don't have the money, so okay, so we'll go and we'll think about all this. And he says, oh no, well, I got to get that amount because that was what the auction was. And I'm like, well, I don't have it, so let us go. And he comes walking by me. He goes, okay, 50,000. Whispers it to me in my ear. Walking by me. Okay, 50. I'm like, oh my God, I got to get out of here. I got to get out of here.
So all these little side deals people go through.
I said, well, you know what? We're really hungry. We just drove all this way. I said, is there some place we can go get something to eat and then we'll come back? And he goes, yeah. There's a little restaurant right down here on the corner. Blah, 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 blah. And I go, okay. So us and our technician, we go. The technician's in his own vehicle. And so we go to the restaurant. And I'm sitting there going, Dale, what'd you get us into?
The old Whiteside.
I said, what'd you get us into? And he's like, well, Steve, that's everything.
He did talk like that.
And
goofy guy.
And then the phone rings. And we got our food, and the phone rings. And I said, put it on speaker. Put it on speaker. Put it on speaker. And he puts it on speaker. And it's the sheriff. And he goes, well, are you guys eating? And he goes, yeah. He says, you guys, you tell them that I'll take the 50. He says, and then when you get back to Dallas, he says, you tell them that you need to work on those machines and get that extra 10 and you send it to me. He goes, yeah, okay, I'll do that. Yeah, we'll get that done. Yes, sir. Yeah, we'll get that right done. I'll get right on that. Yeah, we'll do that. Yeah. And so he hangs up. I said, you son of a bitch. I said, Dale? I said, you bastard. I said, this is a setup. And Mike and I said, we're leaving. And we're out of here. And so we jumped in this little SL55. And that's a pretty fast little car. And we didn't head back to Dallas. We headed off.
Yeah, we felt that they were going to block us, block a road, and pull us over.
There was heavy traffic. And we were like, let's get the hell out of here, Mike. And so we're doing in the ditch, driving out of there. And we went to Shreveport and we stayed for 3 or 4 days. He calls me up and he says, Steve, I heard you bought some more machines. I said, where'd you hear that? And I said, no, I didn't. He says, well, that's what I heard.
And he'd never been raided until he bought those machines.
And they busted him and took those machines.
Wow.
Now you figure that one out. That's a big scam circle that they're pulling. It's
the corruption runs deep.